This is a podcast presented by
Hard to Find Media.
Subscribe to Hard to Find Media on youtube.com/Hard to Find Media Network. This shit is free. Share it. Blast it.
Invisible Brothers, Lex Shrines, and more on this episode of Smallville Freaks. Lex Shrines, remember?
Lex Shrines, that's right.
Whatever it is, I can handle it.
You're the one always telling me I need to find my destiny. But one thing's for certain, it's not here in Kansas. You saved my life.
He's a rather extraordinary young man. Don't you think?
Hello and welcome to Smallville Freaks, a podcast 15 years too late. I'm Mike Pelly.
And I'm Jason Lamb.
And we're here discussing episode 10 of Smallville season 1, Shimmer. This title doesn't quite fit this episode very well.
I don't know, like maybe the writers intended the special effects to be more like the Predator.
Okay.
Or something, like it was supposed to be like a shimmer of invisibility.
And they did show, the invisible person in water and steam and stuff. So kind of,
Yeah.
it works, but I don't know. It's a weird title for this episode.
Yeah.
I almost want to say, what if before they shot all the episodes, they had an idea of all the freaks of the weeks, and then they just made a title up for all of them and then shot them.
That'd actually be a really efficient way to do a Freak of the Week show.
Yeah,
just come up with a weird name for shit.
Yeah. So this week, someone's gonna be shimmering.
The best freak name like that was, I think, from an episode of The X-Files called Mutato. Or I think the Great Mutato.
Yeah, I remember. Is that the?
Yeah, it's like a freak that is locked in someone's basement in the woods or something.
Okay. Oh yeah, that one's a classic.
And there's a kid who I think is in what's that kid's baseball movie that we really like?
Rookie of the Year?
No,
Little Big League?
the one with James Earl Jones.
Oh, The Sandlot.
Sandlot.
Yeah.
The kid, he's from that, but he's older in this, and he's reading a comic book about the Great Mutato. Anyway, I'm talking about X-Files.
It's
now.
fine. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. So,
but that was a great. I don't know, mutato. I don't know. I just love that name.
It's pretty good. So this episode, let's just dive into the overview. It's mostly pretty much about these two siblings. You find out that the brother is really protective of his sister, who has a freakish crush on Lex Luthor, over the top freakish crush, and is he's totally supportive of it. They actually are living on the compound of the Lex mansion because of their mother is a caretaker or something.
I think it's implied that they all sort of work in the mansion, but they're maids or housekeepers or something like that.
Right.
As maybe it's their school job.
But these are straight freshman, maybe sophomore teenagers living in this in this space, and it's so weird because this just little girl keeps walking into Lex's love life and going, "Oh boo, I like you, Lex, why don't you like me back?"
Yeah. And he's okay with it too, which is the other creepy part. It's
so weird.
Oh, it's just a high school crush, and if he knows that's what's going on, he should probably be hey,
yeah,
we gotta talk, because this ain't gonna happen. This is really inappropriate. Not only am I'm your boss, I'm super old.
It's
compared
so
to you.
strange. So he's fully aware that she's crushing on this. So this Alexandria or Alexa is still living with Lex.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
the princess woman, and
they're gonna get married, or so he says. But he's playing a long game,
and that makes the one of the siblings, I think her name's Amy in the show. She's just "Oh boo, I don't like that." Her brother tries to as he's invisible, which is also very unclear as to how he can do that. He's invisible, trying to drown her in her own bathtub. This.
Yeah, maybe I was a little stoned, but I don't really recall how he gets his invisibility powers.
There's a watch, something about a watch, and you can put the watch on, and inside the watch is like a coin. I don't get it.
Was it green slime or was it? Okay, yeah. But then they also showed him sort of like he steps on broken glass and he cuts his foot, but it wasn't his blood. At first I thought it was like, are they just like smearing blood all over themselves to get this to happen? But it's definitely meteor rocks. Whatever it is,
It's tied
it has
in.
to be.
Yeah, it was some
Smallville.
throwaway line where something happened 12 years ago, whatever it is, when the meteor strike. But anyway, the I have a good note here. I just had to take note of the fact that the Talon, which is still called the Beanery, has a straight up Papa Roach poster on the wall.
Oh yeah, the Papa Roach, very much of the time.
Yeah, testament of the time. And this is like, this is so perfect because, you know, kids were listening to that at that time.
I always got Papa Roach and Alien Ant Farm confused. I don't know why. I don't know. Do like the people look the
very
same in the
different.
band?
Maybe, you know, like bleached, spiked hair,
Yeah,
and like shit like that.
yeah. We have Lionel show up.
Yes.
I don't know if you wanted to go in order, if we should just cut right to the Lionel because
Go for it. I always love talking about Lionel Luthor.
yeah, Lionel Luthor,
and his hair.
the best character there ever was on Smallville, and his beautiful locks,
It's so good.
beautiful
so good.
flowing,
Very
like,
greasy
Kenny
looking.
G look. You know, he's got like the oversized trench coat and the
so
yeah,
good.
but he shows up to basically police Lex Luthor and be like,
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing, son?
Yeah, why do you have this woman living with you, Lex? She's clearly trying to sabotage our operation.
I know.
When it affects Luthor Corp, it affects me. That was to a T, right?
I think-
that was to a T.
You know, and Lex is sort of, you know, he's fucking this girl and like he's playing the game and he's leading her on because he knows what his father is telling him is true.
Right.
That she's just sent there to distract him and sort of
But he has like some other cards that he wants to play with that situation.
right. So not only is he just getting laid and he already has a previous history, but he's also pissing off his father in the process.
Yeah.
So it's all just like working out for him.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I'm not going to marry her. She can think that, but it's really not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's clear he's got something up his sleeve on that one.
Yeah.
Not much to really talk about here. I mean, it's like, that's pretty much it. You know, the siblings get in trouble and they get ran off the property because the brother was trying to fucking kill people in the mansion. And there's a lot of, you know, Clark showing up out of nowhere in this episode. We'll get to that in the drinking game for sure.
Indeed.
But like, really, this episode did not. It was mostly drama. And I kind of want to just get to that spot because there's so much to discuss.
Yeah, even with the characters we just mentioned, we got to save the tasty bits.
Yeah. If anything, this episode's kind of a throwaway in the sense that it doesn't have much of a plot or anything, except for the drama subplots that are like really developing what's going on between Clark and Lana and Whitney and all that shit. Quick thing though, to mention, this is an episode where like Whitney's like acting real strange for some reason, and it turns out that like his dad is sick.
Yeah.
I remember like when like Clark like tried to help him pick up his stuff because he dropped it all on the ground, and he's just like, "Fuck you, Clark." And he like looked through the backpack and it is just like, "Oh, this is weird medicine. What's it for? Is it for him?" No, it's for his dying dad.
Oh yeah, his like heart condition or whatever.
And some of that like blends into the drama segment.
All right.
Trust me, you don't want to know me the way you think you do.
Clark, that's my decision to make.
So first off, right away, Clark and Lana are flirting from the fucking get-go. This episode starts out right off the bat. She's just like, Whitney's doesn't want to help with the blood drive. So, and Clark goes, "Ooh, does that mean there's a spot open?"
That's right. He just like swoops in. I think maybe that's even like Lex Luthor's influence. Like he's like sort of training him. It's like, you got to just take what you want, Clark.
Yeah, exactly. That's interesting because I don't know. It's almost like he's just really fucking Lex Luthering everybody, but he's like coming off as like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Another thing is with the drama, this is the first time Chloe is like starting to kind of like just accept the fact that Clark just wants to be with Lana and like he doesn't give a shit about Chloe in a romantic way. So she's just like, I'm gonna just help with romantic advice now. There's a couple instances where like he's confiding in Chloe when it comes to Lana. And she's just like, well, you know, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right, blah, blah, blah. You got to do it these ways.
Yeah.
I don't know the specifics, but it was just interesting. It's the first time that she's like doing that. This is also, I cannot believe Lana in this episode. It's like she doesn't have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like they're hanging out in front of her house where her aunt's inside, and they're like about to straight up make out. Like Clark and Lana are about to make out. But her aunt comes out and like interrupts the almost kiss.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck? Like, she's just about ready to start cheating. She's like cheat hungry right now.
Yeah. And you know this, I don't know, like, you know, I don't know if you have found yourself in some precarious situations when you were like a teenager, right? But
Yeah.
I feel like this is a situation that would definitely happen where you're just like, I'm not thinking about commitments or
No.
boyfriends or whatever. Like, I just really like this person I'm with.
I'm just going with the flow.
Yeah, things are getting really intense right now.
Yeah, it
I'm
was
going to write about it in my diary when I get home.
when I walk inside.
my live journal.
But right after that, after the kiss gets interrupted, Clark immediately goes, hey, do you want to come to my loft tomorrow night?
I know, Jesus.
It's just so like horny in a way,
Yeah.
you know, like just teen steam horniness. Ew. Gross.
I think we're talking about the XXX porn parody at this point.
Fuck, I wonder if there's a Smallville porn parody.
Want to come to my
I want to
barn
see
and fuck?
Lionel's scene. Go down on me.
Oh, Jesus.
Just so
Martha.
So that's like the majority of the drama stuff, but Whitney straight up like knows Clark likes Lana. He straight up says it to his face.
Mm-hmm.
And they both kind of like shrug it off like it is what it is, which is interesting because it's like Whitney doesn't even give a shit. I guess he's concentrated on his dying father, which makes sense. But
Yeah.
and that's why Whitney and Lana are fighting in the first place. Yeah, Lana tries to kiss Clark again at the loft date. But then for some fucking random reason, Clark is like, no, I need to get you and Whitney back together.
Yeah, like he's all of a sudden, well, this is where I was saying it sort of highlights Clark as the Superman that we'll eventually see, because he's
Right.
a person who like cares deeply about other people.
You get to see that heart
right.
that he actually has.
And he realizes what he's doing is going to hurt somebody, and he has to take one for the team. That's what he does, is he sacrifices himself and his needs for the greater good. In this case, I guess it's just for Lana, but no, he was being a good dude, but you're like, Clark, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, I
Why
can't
do
believe
you
it.
care what you do to Whitney? He literally tied you up in a field and left you to die.
Yeah, and I think
Like,
that's brought up in the episode too.
But even after that, the Superman we all know and love would never do
Totally.
that to somebody.
Yeah. So I mean, it's nice that he did that, but it's fucking frustrating at the same time.
Yeah.
Because at no point in all these episodes we've seen, in all the 9 episodes previous, have we seen Clark willing to sacrifice like Lana being with him.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. So let's move on to the drinking game.
All right, let's do it.
The party can officially begin. The Luthors are here.
Yay!
This one I'm gonna say is real heavy. So
Okay.
don't
Brace yourself.
Yeah, go for the soft A, not the hard A.
Ugh, I hate it when you say hard A.
And we'll just go right into the ones we have. So someone says son or father. We've got Lionel, who says it a bunch, and he says
Okay.
it 3 times, I think, in his interaction
Of course.
with Lex.
Just lays those down.
Son?
Son?
Shirtless Clark, we see 1 time
Yeah. This is the first time we see him shirtless since the pilot.
since the pilot.
He's in the shower, the boys' locker room shower thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sexy.
I'm excited to see when he gets like huge towards the end of the series.
He's already pretty fucking big.
He's
man.
really ripped, but like towards the end, he's like a fucking monster.
He just goes out of control.
So glass shattering, we see twice.
Of course.
Because in the previous segment, we didn't talk about how Amy spills her cocktails on Alexia.
All over on Alexia. Yeah.
Yeah, as it's like, I think she's gonna be living here, and she's like, oops.
Yeah. Alexia's like, she did that on purpose. It was clearly on purpose. And Lex is just like, no, it was an accident.
And she's like, sure. Sure it was. All right. I can't remember what the second one was, but I'm pretty sure it was a window breaking because that's classic.
That makes sense.
And thus far, there has not been an episode that doesn't have glass breaking in it.
We're 10 for 10.
Luthor Cocktails, 1, because it's the one that Lionel hands to Lex.
Yes.
Like it's a glass of brandy, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Clark Lies, I have it at 3 times, though I can't remember specifically, but he covers his ass a lot.
He does. Like, even at the end with the Whitney and Lana thing, he makes up something to, like, get out of that loft date.
Yeah. And Clark brooding when he, sees them back together and they work things out.
It's the ending shot, and it's, like, almost like a silhouette of his head just down.
It's Luke Skywalker looking off into the twin suns.
Except looking at his loft floor.
Yeah. Clark shows up out of nowhere. That's twice. I don't know how he knew, for instance, to go to the mansion to save Lex.
It's just, he just knows.
In situations like that, I think, especially first season, they're trying to figure it out. They just pump him out. They're just pushing it forward. Just go. We don't even have to explain it.
No.
Yeah.
No. Just go for it.
And then someone says just friends. That's at least twice. There might have been a third. I don't know. Some of them I forgot to do the tallies.
There's a lot in the drama segment this episode, so I guarantee you Just Friends was dropped a couple times there.
Yeah. He says it. Clark says it to Whitney.
When he's like, oh yeah, you like her.
What's your relationship with my girlfriend, Clark?
We're just friends.
Yeah. We're just friends.
Yeah, sure, Clark.
And I think maybe Lana says just friends as well.
Sure.
So that wraps up our drinking game, and the final tally is
the drinking game.
And the final tally is 15. So please,
oof,
don't do the hard 8. It's only a 43-minute show.
Yeah, unless you just got to get drunk real quick.
Yeah,
and then get sick.
Maybe
real
it's
quick.
a hard day.
All right, so moving on to geek lore.
This is Smallville. Meteor freaks, alien ships, cryptic symbols. Someone has to protect the world.
Geek lore, unfortunately, there was next to nothing for this one because Superman didn't really have any villains that were shimmery or invisible or put paint on themselves or blood or whatever the hell it was.
If he fought actual Predator, it would have been worth a mention.
Yeah. He does, however, get poisoned by kryptonite, and so you know that it's kryptonite powered, whatever the invisibility is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this one is pretty light on that. So let's just move on to the crew spotlight, shall we?
Crew spotlight, here we come.
I'm to help create the look of the show, to tell the story visually.
So this one we have Michael Green, who is the writer of this episode. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately for Michael Green, it was definitely one of the shittiest episodes we've seen, where the subplot of the relationship drama was way more interesting than was actually going on with the main plot.
Yeah.
And
it almost seems like CW is telling the writer, like, look, we just got to get a lot of this like Clark and Lana stuff like figured out. So fill in the gaps with some story.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably what he was tasked to do. And, you know, like the way writers' rooms work.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think that like other people rewrote his shit, but this is the same guy who brought us the Green Lantern movie, which is one of the worst superhero films. It's not the worst, but it's pretty low on the scale.
It gets you know, it rightfully so has a terrible reputation. I actually gave it a few tries. I saw it once. I was like, ooh, that didn't look good. I didn't like any. I don't remember anything from it. So I tried it again later, and it just did not hold up. So I gave it some tries.
The old college try.
Yeah, but
whatever
Green Lantern,
the fuck that means. I still don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But he also wrote the animated Emerald Knights, which was a spin-off from that film and part of the DC animated universe, which was pretty good. It was like sort of a montage of different lanterns that they didn't get the chance to shine in the movie because again, the movie sucked.
Yeah, pretty bad.
But he also wrote like Heroes and Sex and the City, and I don't know if you remember the show called Everwood. which was like a father and son CW drama.
Yeah, it was like it was on during the time with like Dawson's Creek and shit. Like
right.
That,
yeah, it was very much of that style. But yeah, Michael Green, I'm sorry. Not a great writer.
Not a great writer. I mean, and we checked all of his writing credits, correct? And like the most notable is the Green Lantern.
Yeah, most notable, at least in the scope of what we're doing here.
You know what's
with
interesting
the DC
about
Comics.
the fact that he wrote Green Lantern is that the main villain at the end was a giant cloud, right? and like in this episode, it's like it's an invisible person like in the steam.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like he's really into like kind of humanoid things, but like it all has to be like smoky or steamy.
Well, what I didn't check is whether or not he came back to write, like, say, the Darkseid episodes from season 10.
Yeah.
Because Darkseid was literally just a cloud of smoke throughout that whole thing.
It was pretty bad. But we'll get there one day.
Yeah, someday we'll get there. Maybe we'll even return to Michael Green. Maybe he'll do great things by the time we get through this.
Maybe he'll turn it around. I mean, we've seen some pretty awesome episodes of Smallville, so I mean, we are recording a fucking podcast 15 years too late. But anyway, that wraps up the episode. Jason, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at the Twitter at Jason_Lamb or Instagram at JTL_hell.
Nice. You can find me, Mike Pelly, with a Y, at all social media platforms. Thanks for joining us. Tune in next week. We will be reviewing episode 11. Bye.
Bye.
This has been a podcast presented by
Hard to Find Media.
Subscribe to Hard to Find Media on youtube.com/Hard to Find Media Network. This shit is free. Share it. Blast it. Fuck it.